I went to a qigong class located near the University of Washington in Seattle a couple of times. The class was taught by a Chinese guy who labeled himself as being a qigong master. Maybe he was, I don't know. The class consisted mostly of university students and the local hippie-type fauna that existed in the university area during those years. I'm guessing there were about 30 students in the big room. I had already been learning Tian Shan Qigong with Mr. Young for a couple of years, and I was just checking out the competition. While we were doing the exercises, I was actually shocked to see that not one of those students was trying to do a careful or exact imitation of the teacher. They were doing similar movements, but they were not really paying attention to the all-important details. I call that being lazy and sloppy, and it is a gigantic show of disrespect to a Chinese teacher, a real slap in the face. The teacher noticed that I was the only one who was carefully imitating what he was teaching, and I could tell he really appreciated it and admired me for it. On my part, I was ashamed that he had such lousy students and actually felt sorry for him. Maybe when beginners are learning from a Western teacher, who is likely also a beginner, none of them, including the teacher, appreciate the importance of doing an exact imitation, so it's all okay. A long line of amateurs. However, if someone seriously wants to learn a complex system with a lot of variations, then it is of utmost importance to observe very carefully and do your absolute best to do an exact imitation of the movements. When I started with Mr. Young, my Tai Chi teacher advised me, watch him like a hawk. And I think that's about the best advice I have ever gotten in the internal arts. Watch him like a hawk means absolute careful observation of all the angles, of all the joints in the body, not just the hands. Careful observation is, in itself, an excellent form of meditation. And it is something that Westerners in general are not very good at. It is amazing all the little secrets you can pick up if you observe carefully, details which would easily be missed by the casual observer. Another thing is that when a master notices that a student is not attempting an exact imitation, they become disgusted. They will not stoop to making corrections. That's for amateurs. They will just wish that the student go away, and their wishes usually come true. Then comes the imitation part. While observing carefully, you do your absolute best to do an exact imitation of the movements and angles of all the joints in the body, and that in itself is also a powerful form of meditation. Lao Tzu wrote that the sage teaches without speaking, and so it is that during a real neigong class, not a single word is spoken ever. There is only silence. There are no explanations ever. Sometimes there is discussion after class, but that's different. The more a qigong teacher talks during class to explain what he is doing, the lower you know he is on the scale of advancement. It is different in Tai Chi. The teacher must explain and make corrections, but not in neigong. I really did not want to add any spoken instructions to my videos, but I was talked into it. Videos are a little different than in-person training anyway, and the teacher can't see how well the students are trying to do their best. Once I was talking about imitating movements with this extremely old Taoist, who I later discovered was a Taoist immortal, and he said, only a master attempts an exact imitation. So are you master material or not? Obviously, the university students had no desire to be masters, but real neigong, which is what I'm teaching, is for creating qigong masters. You will never become a master if you are a sloppy imitator, obviously, so do your best and enjoy the challenge. Keep in mind that these same principles apply to anyone who wants to learn any art. Some people have what it takes and some never will. Which kind are you?